Good morning. Welcome to One Yard Wednesday. I'm Colleen from GEDesigns, and this is my favorite day of the week. This is the day where we show you fantastic fabrics at fabulous prices, and we use them in fun and creative ways, and what can be better than that? Just a reminder before we get started that the prices and the fabrics will be live when the show is over. So don't start shopping for them quite yet. Sit back, relax, and enjoy these. This is a brand new line of fabrics for us. In the studio today, I have actually two producers. I have Mr. GP over there. Good morning, GP. Good morning. And Mr. KB, also known as Kobe the human, because we have Kobe the dog, and so when we have two Kobes here, we call him Kobe the human. Yep. How fun is it to have such a great team, people who are having fun and creating and working hard together? It's a great place to be. So let me talk a little bit about the fabrics that we have today, but let's start with the quilts we have on set. Behind the producers, we have a quilt that you will see it coming up in the retreat. This one is called Winnie, and the bundle is called Clover and Dot. I love that quilt. I love the fabric. The background is really fun and funky and cool, and it went together really easily. So if you're still thinking about participating in the retreat, it's not too late. The registration is open until February 17th, so check that out. And by the way, be sure and nominate someone for the scholarship. We have scholarships each year, as you know. Behind me is Supersized Amalie, and I made this out of the fabric that we'll be looking at today. Supersized Amalie is a really also fun block and fun quilt to make. And why we call it supersized is because the block is large. The finished block for this quilt will be 12.5 by 12.5. We cut it to 13 by 13. So it makes for a fast quilt and lots of big and bold uses of these really fun prints. And I'll show you how to trim that, and I'll show you the pattern closer to the end. So before we look at the fabrics, I do have a question. The collection of fabrics we have today is from Liberty Fabric Company. So my question is, who is Liberty, and have you sewn with Liberty fabrics before? Please comment, and we'll talk about that at the end also. Let's look at the fabrics. Here we go. The first fabric, and I have 10 in this collection, and they're spectacular. The first one is called Wildflower Field. This is the print. This is not the largest floral scale, but I really am more of the medium in this line, and I really, really love it. It has a charcoal to maybe, I think this is a charcoal background with different shades of gray, a little bit of mauve, and so pretty. And yes, and yet it also looks contemporary if you think about the fabrics that they have with this. Let's look at the next one. Next up is Madsy Silhouette, and this is also so pretty. So if you are not looking for more florals, maybe you're looking for more grays, and this is so pretty with this sort of a taupey background, and then the gray in the flowers, and then just the hint of creamy white. Not a pure white, but just a soft white in the flowers. So pretty. And then we have Arlie Blossom. If you look closely at Arlie Blossom, it has a little bit darker shade of gray as the background, the same creamy white flowers, and it also has a real pale yellow as some of the flowers. I'm not sure if you can see that on your screen or not, but there is a little bit of yellow in here, which really gives us a little bit brighter look. And then we have Mamie Flower. Now, I'm particularly fond of Mamie Flower because I had an aunt named Anne Marie, and I could never say her name, so I named her Mamie. And for the rest of her life, she was Mamie. So I think of her when I see Mamie flower. This does have that yellow, like a goldish yellow that we talked about over here. That same different shades of gray, a little bit of green here, a dusty green, and then of course that pinky, dusty pink. Very pretty. Thank you, Mamie. And next up, Chiltern Hill. And you can, now I know this one you can really see the yellow here. Very soft and very pretty, along with the pink and that creamy white background and the gray. You're getting a sense of the variety of value that we have in this collection, and they are all really spectacular. This is one of my favorites. This is a little itty bitty print called Suffolk Field, and just teeny weeny buds in this one, and it is a great blender. From far away it's going to look more like a neutral, and it'll read gray, even though it has a little bit of gray as well as the yellows and the pinks and the greens that are seen in the other prints. Now we're moving into a medium tone. This is Kensington Gardens, and so pretty. This is Kensington Gardens. This is on a medium gray background with, again, the yellows, the dusty pinks, the grays, all just so pretty. Also in the medium tone, we have Ava May. And Ava May is equally pretty with this really small scale, bigger than this one and yet smaller than this one, obviously. This one doesn't have the yellow in it, just the grays and that dusty pink and the white. So pretty on that medium gray. And then we are moving back into dark gray. Here is the 9th fabric, Hampstead Meadow. Isn't that pretty? This almost has a kind of a Dutch feel with the sharp edges of the flowers and the blossoms that look like tulips. Very, very pretty. And finally, the largest scale of the group is this one, and isn't it pretty? This is Cosmos Field. I love this. So Cosmos has the different shades, again, of that dusty pinky peach and the grays, and this is on that dark background as well. So pretty. So these 10 make up the Liberty Flower Show Pebble. This line is called Flower Show Pebble. I love this. I love this collection. What should we talk about next? Should we talk about the notion?
I think so.
All right. I've got a notion. My notion today is the bind teeny. And if you don't know what a bind teeny is, I'm going to tell you. It's a fun plexi-shaped martini glass, and it is designed to hold your binding once it's prepared for your quilt. So the quilt behind me is not bound yet. This is the binding I prepared for it, and I wound it around my bindini, and then I just pulled it through in the back, and it'll hold it until I'm ready. We designed it with a hole in the top so I can hang this on my pegboard if I'd like to, and of course it's very GE in the martini glass shape. When you get your bindini, it'll have paper on two sides, and you will just pull off the paper, and then you'll see the bindini come to life. I love my actually I have 3 of them because I usually have more than one project going at a time, and this allows me to keep my bindings straight, and I'm never thinking, where did I put that? It's hanging up, and I can enjoy looking at it and enjoy it. So today's notion, the bind teeny. Grab one for you and one for a friend. maybe it's time to answer that question. What do you think, GP?
Mm-hmm.
So the question was, who is Liberty Fabrics, and maybe have you used Liberty Fabrics in the past? Well, Liberty Fabrics is a London-based company, and they've been making fabrics since 1875. So they really know how to do this, and they do it really well. I haven't before this used a Liberty fabric before, but I can tell you it is a beautiful fabric with a fine weave, great color. It's behaved so well, even with Supersized Amalie, which, as you can see, is mostly squares that I end up cutting on the bias. This fabric was a peach to work with. So Liberty Fabrics has what they called Tana lawn cottons, and they, like I said, are ultra fine cotton with a fluid hand and a fine weave, and they make fabric for garments and home dec and crafts such as quilting and so on. And they design in-house in London, and they print in a mill in Italy, which I think I should go there on a field trip. I'd have much more credibility if I could go there, just saying. But go to their website because it does look very charming, of course. But who would not want to go to the north of Italy? They're brilliant canvases for bespoke creations of all kinds. How British does that sound? So custom-made projects of all kinds. I just love that. I had one other thing to say about the Liberties, but like I said, I really enjoyed them. I followed Gudrun's advice, and I gave them a little bit of sizing, let that dry, press them really well, let them dry again, and then I cut them out. And even in these great big blocks on bias seams, they were just luscious to work with. So I can't recommend them enough. So that's the Liberty Fabrics. Okay. What is your, my accent fabric. Thank you for asking. I should have shown that. My accent fabric in my quilt is a deco stitch. So this is an art gallery fabric, and it's called Lilac Dusk. And I really, really love it. It gives it just another element of color, really enhances and pulls out that dusty pink in here. So, and the two fabrics, the art gallery is also such awesome quality along with the Liberty, and together it was really a treat to make this quilt. So, Deco Stitch Lilac Dust. Thanks for asking. All righty. So, we talked about the question, we talked about the notion. Should we look at the fabrics one more time? All right. Let's start where we ended with this large scale floral here, which is Cosmos Field. So pretty, and I really love sort of that ombre effect from real dark to medium to real light that you can get across these 10 fabrics. The next one is, of course, the Madzi Silhouette. And, I know what I was going to say. I just thought of it. Now we know why these all have interesting names. They're based on the British sort of best in show garden club culture. And so these are all specific names of gardens and garden shows. And that's why I don't recognize them because I haven't been there. So anyway, here we are. Hampstead Meadow is this one. Isn't that, pardon me? This Hampstead Meadow, this one. Ava May, pretty, more gray background, a little bouquets of flowers in Ava May. And then, okay. Should we start over? Sure. Okay, so I distracted myself by talking about something completely out of turn. Okay, so let's go back to this large scale one. This one is Cosmos Field. The biggest print is so pretty. And then, of course, Hampstead Meadow. And when you go to the website, obviously the names will be with the fabric, so you won't have to memorize these, which is a good thing. And then we have Ava May, so pretty, these little buds. And then we have Kensington Gardens, so that's just imagining going into the garden and pulling out a bouquet. And then we have Suffolk Field. This looks like just a field of little teeny wildflowers. Chiltern Hill, so pretty in the light with a lot of yellow. And then Mamie Flower from my Aunt Mamie, the yellows and the pinks and the greens and the grays. Arley Blossom, more gray and a teeny bit of yellow. Madsy Silhouette. Now this just has the gray and the creamy white. And then finally, way over here on the right, this is Wildflower Field. That's the first one we looked at. And it's the darkest of the, it gives you the most dark color of all of these together. And then, like I said, Deco Stitch Lilac Dusk is my accent. There's sure others that would work great, but I frankly love this. I tried to find a yellow, but yellow is either very pale and it looks white, or it is just too bright for me for this. My notion of the day is the bind teeny, and like I said, it'll come to you with paper on it. You can peel the paper off and wrap your binding around it. How cute is that? Grab a couple, they're super handy. And then the patterns of the day are Supersized Amalie, which I used for the quilt behind me, and then I also brought Amalie. Now, just a reminder that the supersized patterns are simply larger blocks than the original. So Amalie is an 8.5 inch block, and supersized Amalie is a 12.5 inch block. So this, obviously, you're going to just make fewer blocks and get a great big impact. This one, more blocks and maybe an increase in variety of color and so on. They're both really fun to make. And before we go, I just want to show you why this is so fun to do. This is the Supersized Amalie block. I want to be sure and show you the whole thing. Move it. So now you can see that it's oversized, not finished, and I'm going to tell you why the XL ruler is such a great tool. So here is my diagonal intersection here on the XL ruler, and I'm going to lay that right on the intersection of those two lilac accent pieces. Now, obviously, this is on top of a lot of fabric, but this is the magic of the XL ruler. What I'll be doing is trimming using the 0 slit here and the 13th inch slit here. So using this ruler, I can actually square up a block that is 13 inches large. Again, lay my my diagonal lines on this seam here, cut on the 0 slit, cut on the 13 slit, and then I'll turn it and do the same thing, and I'll have a perfect 13 by cutting here and cutting on 13 again. So that's my notion, my tool, my tip. Supersized Amalie is just so fun, and here's another supersized block. Aren't they cool? Really fun to make. So that's our show for today. Grab yourself a bindini, grab yourself some of this London fabric, which we love, the Liberty of London. Flower Show Pebble, there's 10 of them. So any and all of them would be a great add to your collection. I'm Colleen from GEDesigns, and that's Mr. GP and Mr. KB. We hope you have an awesome day. Make yourself something wonderful today. See you next time.